Hey y'all, so what I'm gonna do is I'm over at my aunt's house, Big D, and she likes the way that I espalier my trees. So this is a pear tree, and I'm going to just kind of assess it right now, see which way the branches are going. And then this one is a peach tree, and I had to put this stake in the ground to hold back this one branch because a lot of the branches are already hardened off, which means that they're really hard and woody. They're kind of set in their place. They're not malleable like the twigs that are just now growing. So those are much easier to bend and manipulate than once the wood has hardened off. Here's a few examples of my trees. It's a pomegranate and a apple, which I planted back in 2023. So they're going on their third year. Espalier is a form of pruning or training your fruit trees or ornamental shrubs to grow in a flat, narrow space, typically against a wall or supported by lattice or a framework of stakes. I just like the way it looks. I think it looks really cool. I have a little bit of space for some trees, but I think it looks really neat and clean. It's an Italian way of training your trees. Anyway, getting on the topic of explaining what I'm doing here is that wooden stake to the right there, that was preparing the already hardened branch to kind of train itself or set in place. I was here a week ago and I set that stake there because that branch was pointing straight out. So I'm really forcing it to the far right. To prevent any stress or strain on the branches, you want to do this slowly, preferably when they're malleable, when they're baby twigs. But once they're hard woody, it really puts a lot of stress on branches and they can actually crack and break. The tree will actually heal itself, but it just doesn't have that clean, straight line that I would prefer. It does give an architectural feel to it when it has a lot of movement, a lot of ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and it looks really cool. But for me, preferably, I like it to look really straight and neat. Luckily, Big D, she loves, architectural look, and she likes things to look really wild and natural. So what I did was just ended up putting in these T-posts on either end, and they're about 28 inches apart. And then I put up the 8-foot boards on center with the trunk of the tree. Then I'll slowly start to tie them down with wire ties. This is completely temporary for now. Eventually, once the tree is hardened off, then I'll come back and I'll remove those wires and I will add in something that will be a little more softer, like tree tape. So I did a lot of explanation what espalier is and the importance of slowly moving the branches so they don't break, but I didn't do much of what I was doing. So I'll explain that here with this pear tree. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by tying off the center, the trunk, and figuring out which is the leader. The tree part, the part that's going to go straight up in the air, that's called the leader. And then what I want to do is I want to determine what's going to go left and what's going to go right. Once I've figured that out, then I will start cutting off anything that is growing forward, down, or backwards. Really all we want is vertical growth and left and right. That way we can start training the tree to fruit where we want it. Okay, this is a perfect example of where I pulled too hard and the woody branch began to have stress fractures and started to split or crack. I'm just going to make a makeshift band-aid here with some tree tape and hopefully it heals itself. It will heal itself, and in a few weeks I can remove that tape and it will be completely healed over. It will always have that hard bend in it, but at least it won't crack or fracture or break. Eventually what we want is the tree to heal itself and close that wound, and we can either eventually grow a new branch out the left of the tree trunk or just leave it as is and have that architectural bend in the tree. I'll give you a side view here so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Really, I'm just assessing the tree, determining what branch to keep. I want to keep all the ones that are growing straight up or to the left and right. Anything that's growing out towards the front, I'm going to cut off. Anything that's growing in the back, I'm going to cut off. And anything growing down, definitely cut off. All right, let's tie it all down. There's not very many branches on this pear tree, but it'll fill in pretty quickly and we'll have tons of fruit. So I espaliered these two trees, and it looks pretty scary right now, but this is really healthy for these trees. They're gonna bear fruit better. They're gonna have more airflow in between their leaves and branches. What I did was put up these two posts, spaced them about 20 inches apart. Mine are too close together. Mine are about like 12 inches apart. So this is more proper to space them this far apart. But basically, espalier just means flat. It's an Italian way of pruning your trees, and you can walk behind, you can walk in the front, and it's really meant for like tight quarters, not a lot of space, up against walls. But I just like the way it looks. I think it looks really cool. This is the other tree. Same thing. This branch looks a little wonky. I ended up wrapping it with tape because it started to crack and split, but it'll heal itself over. Espalier can be any shape you want it to be. This espalier is really kind of free-flowing. I prefer very clean lines, straight lines, espalier, so I am training mine to start to grow straighter. Eventually, what we could do with these trees is once they start to branch out where the boards are, we can start to train those branches to grow in straighter lines, and then eventually we can, once those have established, we can cut out the crooked branches. As for now, this is going to be totally fine. I think it looks pretty good. And they have the Myers lemon tree, and you could do the same thing with the Myers lemon tree, but this looks pretty good the way it is. So yeah, it turned out pretty well. Update on their garden, it's doing really well. She decided to keep the nasturtium. They're going to have a full-on cornucopia here pretty soon. They're going to have all kinds of veggies and peppers, a whole spice rack. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how all this turns out. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'd like to know if anybody has espaliered a tree before. If so, please drop it in the chat. I'd love to hear your results. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love to respond to everybody that reaches out. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. It just fuels me to keep going. As always, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.